a vice president accused of death threats, corruption, and betrayal. Impeached by the House, but saved by the Supreme Court. Sara Duterte survives, for now. Her critics call it injustice. Her allies, a comeback. This is VERTEX, and as 2028 nears, is the daughter of Duterte preparing for a return to power? The Philippine Supreme Court on July 25, 2025, delivered a thunderclap ruling. The impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte was struck down as unconstitutional. It was not a verdict of innocence, but a dramatic pause in one of the most explosive political sagas since the Marcos-Duterte alliance shattered. In a unanimous decision, the court ruled the impeachment was flawed by procedural violations, not addressing the merit of the allegations. The decision stunned Duterte's opponents and handed her a lifeline amid accusations ranging from corruption to sedition.
The ruling was immediately executory. It is not our duty to favor any political result. Ours is to ensure that politics are framed within the rule of just law.
Supreme Court spokesperson Camille Sue-Mei-Ting reinforced the gravity of the moment.
Our fundamental law is clear. The end does not justify the means. There is a right way to do the right thing at the right time. This is what the rule of just law means. This is what the fairness or due process of law means, even for impeachment. However, the court said it is not absolving Vice President Duterte of any of the charges against her. But any subsequent impeachment complaint may only be filed starting February 6, 2026.
Ting clarified that the court was not clearing Duterte of wrongdoing. But any new impeachment case must wait until after February 6, 2026. More than 200 House lawmakers had endorsed the complaint, marking the fourth filed against Duterte. But the Senate was blocked from convening an impeachment tribunal, leaving Duterte legally protected for now, but still politically vulnerable. Duterte's legal team celebrated the verdict.
This unanimous decision has once again upheld the rule of law and reinforced the constitutional limits against abuse of the impeachment process. We remain prepared to address the allegations at the proper time and before the appropriate forum.
President Marcos distanced himself from the turmoil. His office affirmed respect for the judiciary while insisting the executive would not interfere. The Senate followed suit. The House, however, remained defiant. While avoiding public statements, one unnamed official from the prosecution panel offered a veiled warning.
While it respects the court, its constitutional duty to uphold truth and accountability does not end here.
The ruling has re-energized Duterte's supporters and reignited talk of a 2028 presidential run. But the court's calendar is clear. She may face renewed legal attacks after early 2026. This battle isn't over. It's merely moved to the next arena. Sara Duterte, daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, has never shied from political warfare. But 2025 tested her like never before. Her impeachment marked a first in Philippine history. No vice president had ever been formally impeached by the House of Representatives. The charges were staggering: alleged misuse of public funds, illicit wealth, and even incitement of violence. At the center of the storm was a November 2024 livestream where Duterte issued a chilling warning. If she were to be assassinated amid political infighting, she declared, then President Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and then House Speaker Martin Romualdez should expect the same fate. She later claimed it was a metaphor for fear, not a literal threat, but the fallout was swift.
Duterte's conduct throughout her tenure clearly displays gross faithlessness against public trust and a tyrannical abuse of power that, taken together, showcases her gross unfitness to hold public office and her infidelity to the laws and the 1987 Constitution.
criminal investigations followed. So did impeachment. And then came accusations that she opposed the government's stance on China's aggression in the South China Sea, damaging her image with nationalists. Her father, Rodrigo Duterte, now in custody at the International Criminal Court over his war on drugs, still casts a long shadow. Sara inherited both his base and his enemies. Tensions with Marcos began long before 2025. Despite running on a unity ticket in 2022, Rodrigo Duterte publicly accused Marcos of being a drug addict and weak. Sara later accused the Marcos camp of corruption and trying to shut her out of power. She has survived it all. With Marcos barred from re-election in 2028, Sara Duterte is now one of the most formidable contenders. If convicted, she would have been disqualified from ever running again. Instead, she remains a central and polarizing figure in Philippine politics. Her survival may embolden allies, but it also guarantees more confrontation. The Supreme Court closed one door. The road to 2028 has just opened another. The war continues, and Sara Duterte is not backing down.